Hello.
Hello. Hi, guys.
Hello.
Welcome to Don't Worry Wednesday, the
Hello.
early version.
The early
Hey, we're 12,
version.
12 minutes early. Um,
Yes.
so you guys, better praise us and say we're pretty great.
We're pretty
Because, we aren't always late. We're just late every time except this time. And last
Except
time,
at last time we were on time.
last time we were actually on time. We started at 8 when the clock turned over.
Yeah,
So it's
that was
pretty
pretty
good.
cool.
Yeah,
Pretty cool.
pretty cool. You guys are pretty cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, welcome to Don't Worry Wednesday. How you doing? How you guys doing in the chat today? You guys doing great? It's nice to see you all. Thanks for showing up early. I think that's awesome. How you doing, Joe?
Fantastic. How about yourself?
Amazing. And Princess?
Doing pretty well.
Pretty well. All right. Well, this is Don't Worry Wednesday. All of you guys know the show by now, but I'm gonna say what it is anyways. This is the show where we talk about whatever topics you guys submit for us. Usually something along the lines of struggles in daily life. Could be a passing of a friend. It could be trying to understand yourself. It could be trying to figure out a relationship struggle with someone, or maybe, you know, um, just trying to figure out how to get this stupid car to work. It could be anything. But
Stupid car.
stupid car, you're not even smart. You don't have a brain. I have one. Ugh. You know how it is.
Car.
Car. Yeah, that sounded like the pirate version. Car.
Car.
Car. I'm about to start my car. I said to sail up, but it aren't going. Starting car. Got it in neutral. The wind's not taking it anywhere. So, anyways,
Perfect.
yeah. Perfect. That's how I pirate talk. I just about everything. It's also how I dinosaur talk.
Oh,
Tark.
that's your
Yeah.
dinosaur tart.
This is my dinosaur talk. Yeah, they're very, pirates and dinosaurs are pretty much the same thing.
They are the same thing.
They are the same thing. They both
Yes,
have
a
short
pirate.
arms, really long legs, big mouths, and a lot of
I got a big head and little arms.
Yeah. Yes. That's how I talk. Because I'm a dinosaur. Anyways, so yeah, we aim to help you guys get through your struggles. Now, a lot of times you guys know what to do, but it's nice to hear someone else's perspective. It's nice to be able to vent or hear someone else talk about it, talk to a friend about it, and just open up, because a lot of times our brain runs in loops and it doesn't want to go into action mode to solve it. It needs some help. And so that's why we're here. We're here to be a friend. And, we aren't professional psychologists, therapists, or anything along those lines. But we've lived lives, we've experienced a lot of things, and we aim to use those to help other people. And of course, everybody in the chat, you're welcome to do the same. It's awesome when you guys chip in and you guys add your 2 cents, because you guys, your lives that you lived and the problems you've solved are also valid and worth hearing. Mm-hmm. So they help out too. So we really appreciate when you guys in the chat add to add to the discussion. So cool. That about covers it. This is Don't Worry Wednesday. If you want to submit a topic, feel free to do so. You can just put it in the chat. You can also send it to our email if you want to be anonymous. That's dww@bss.studio, or you can go to our website and put it right on there for us. If you got one, you want to type it out and it's longer, that's probably the best way to do it, because this chat can only hold so much. The links for that are provided just above. Princess so kindly put them in there for us. Princess is our management team. She does all of it. She does all the hard work. We just talk, Joe and I. But yeah, boom, that's the show.
Boom.
So let's get into it.
Boom.
Unless anybody has anything they want to say before. Didn't think so. All right.
Boom.
So, boom.
Here
Yeah.
comes the boom.
Thanks, Joe.
You're welcome.
Thanks for letting that one out there. Yeah. So I'm gonna run down this,
moment of silence for that one.
moment, yeah, a little bit. I'm just trying to make it as awkward as possible for you.
Thank you. Good job.
You're welcome. So,
You're the host, man.
I know.
Keep us going.
Don't tell me what to do. I'm the host. Rawr.
Rawr. If you would start Tarkin.
Tarkin. Oh, don't get me Tarkin now. So I'm gonna go through the list of names. If you are here, let us know. Yeah. We've got Ian Lam, Ezekiel Games, Dracon, LG, Toast, Immature Success, and Anonymous, Amira, Meow, Anonymous, and Anonymous. So quite a few anonymi.
We're getting anonymized.
And Kendra.
And Kendra.
Oh,
Kendra's just
Kendra's
got a
got one
new
too.
topic. Yep.
Oh, Kendra just got a new topic. Awesome.
It's there in the
Awesome.
chat. She followed your instructions
Oh,
and put it right
Nice
there in the
job.
chat.
Kendra, you're awesome. I love you.
Man, oh man. If I
So-
followed Ryan's instructions,
Wouldn't do it.
you wouldn't do it? I wouldn't do
yeah,
it if I was
because-
me or if I was you.
Yeah, because here's the thing. I don't give you enough instructions. You would just be sitting there doing nothing.
Because you don't give instructions?
Yeah, usually.
Okay. You're like,
Yeah.
hey, this is here.
Yeah, I don't have time to give you step-by-step instructions for your whole life, Joe. I'm sorry.
Come on.
I love you, though.
Come
I
on.
love you. I
Come
just
on.
okay, fine. I'll do it. So it looks like first on the list would be an anonymous person. Cool.
Ash says you'd be a fun teacher, Ryan. You would be a fun
Oh,
teacher.
Thanks. I appreciate it.
I think you're right.
awesome, Ash.
Yes.
Okay. So we're gonna do this anonymous one. It's titled Friendship Troubles. Whenever actually, Princess, you want me to post it in the chat or you got it?
Meh.
I got it, guys.
I'm doing the
just-
other thing.
Okay.
Hey, look at that.
There it is. So, if you want to read along, Princess is going to read it for us, and there's the link. If you
Wrong
want,
one, I think.
Oh.
Is it the wrong one? Is that the?
is that Friendship Troubles?
This is online friends. So yes,
Ah.
that link is for the other one about friends. There we go.
The other anonymous person.
other
They're
anonymous
very
person
similar
about
titles,
friends.
so
I
Yep.
don't think it's here yet.
Friendship
So we'll
troubles
just-
anyway,
from
this
anonymous.
one's the correct one.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh,
cool.
you're so good.
Click on that link. It's titled Friendship Troubles, and it reads as follows.
Recently, my best friends stopped responding to me. When I messaged them asking what was going on, they said school was just being rude. I asked if it was on the Wi-Fi or just schoolwork, and they didn't want to talk to me about it. They said that they did want to talk to me, but that they felt that we're not the same. Our communication was dry. I get it, since they haven't really talked in a while, meaning having an actual conversation. We really just did role plays. They wanted to stop doing the role plays and wanted to try to get our friendship in a better place. But then they said they didn't know if the friendship was worth it. I didn't really know how to react to that, and I still don't. There's been countless times where I wanted to say something, but it sounded rude, so I deleted it. I feel like I'm still processing this all and just haven't been able to figure out the right thing to say. I feel like I'm processing it, but still, I also feel like I can predict what they're going to say next. I really don't know how it works. My mind is confused. I don't want to lose them, but again, they said that they don't know if it was worth it. Because of this, I realized that I barely have any friends anymore. All of my friends have either moved on or betrayed me. Even the people I just met from school have stopped talking to me. I don't really know what to do about any of this. I knew that this would happen sooner or later. Everyone I get close to either leaves me or backstabs me. I got a feeling that they're going to do the same. They said they won't, but They've been ignoring me these past few days. I have no idea what to do or how to react to any of this. I don't want to lose them, and they said they still feel the same, but I really don't feel like they do. I feel like something's wrong with me. Because for almost all of my friendships, I have never ended any of them. They were always the ones to lead me. So clearly, I do something wrong every time, or it's something with my personality. They said that it wasn't something wrong with me, but based on what's happened with every other friendship, I've clearly done something to mess them all up. From Anonymous.
Thank you, Anonymous.
Mhm.
Yeah, this is a really good topic. One thing I really love about it, and I don't mean to say I love that you're going through this. This is not good at all. But it's really impressive to me that you're trying to look at this and say there's something clearly wrong with me and I need to fix something. I need to figure out what it is. What's impressive to me is that you are taking responsibility, that you're looking at it in such a way that says, okay, this keeps on happening to me and me only. So there must be something wrong with me. And I can't say if there is or isn't because I don't think I know you well enough. But I really appreciate this because it takes a lot of strength as a human being. It takes an insane amount of strength to come to the conclusion or to even begin to admit that maybe it's you. I know a lot of people that, they're really hard to handle. They're hard to deal with on a daily basis. And then they say, I don't understand why everybody else is so stupid. It's definitely not me, you know? And I'm not saying that you're like that person. I'm saying you're not that person because you're already saying, maybe it is me. Maybe it is me. Here's the thing. Maybe it's not you. Maybe it's not you. But what I just really appreciate that you want to solve it so much that you're willing to take blame to figure out how to fix it, figure out maybe it is you. And I remember going through that in my life. And I came to a conclusion that, you know what? It is me. And that's okay because I can change and grow. Right. But not everybody comes to that conclusion. And not everybody is it actually them who's the problem. So hopefully, through our discussion with this tonight, you can get a clear idea and not get beat down by this whole situation. But I'm really hoping you get empowered by the situation because I remember something like this happened to me, and it was kind of part of what made me start moving forward with myself and making changes to myself and improving myself. So either way, I hope that you take this as an opportunity to grow. But I'm going to move it on to Joe and see what he's got to say about the topic.
I probably have a lot to say about this topic. I'm actually I know this topic quite well. I'm actually experiencing this currently with a friend who is no longer being my friend. And it was a really close friend too. It was pretty hard to deal with, especially when, it's somebody that you've got some history with, maybe you've opened up to them, maybe you've, confided in them, maybe, you guys have developed a bond like that, and then all of a sudden, it seems to be decaying maybe, or it's just cut off or whatever happens, right? And that is one of the most extreme pains that I know of. Relational pain is the hardest. It hurts the most, and it's the most debilitating. I'd rather have my leg cut off than deal with heartache, to be honest with you. Because at least if my leg gets cut off, I can go to ER and they can give me some morphine or something.
Well, they could turn you into a pirate.
They could turn me into a pirate.
They can give you a peg leg and be like, arr.
Exactly. And not only that, but then also it's noticeable to the outside world. If you have a physical injury, people understand, oh, this is why they're upset, or this is why this is going on. But when it's all inside, you know, people will never really know unless you talk to them about it, right? Unless you tell them about it. So Anonymous, my heart goes out to you because this strikes a chord with me, especially right now because it's fresh, right? So I will tell you this. There are some things that I've learned. People get involved in stuff. People do things. People move in different directions all the time. I've had lots of really good friends, come into my life and out of my life. And they were there for a season, and they were there to help with whatever, or just to be a friend, or, we had some good times, whatever, and then we don't talk anymore or whatever. Sometimes it's, really, sometimes it's a real painful ending. And then sometimes it's just a gradual, we just get busy doing other stuff and then we don't talk so much. It's a little different when it's an online friend. This is the first time it's been an online friend for me that has decided to, not really be close to me anymore. And that's weird because, online you're kind of available a lot, right? You can chat with people, like you can type a message to somebody. If they're available, they'll message you back. If they're not, they won't, whatever. But usually, people are checking that message, pretty consistently. And so it's easy to stay in contact with people. And so when this kind of distance starts to happen in the online world, I noticed for me, it was even a little bit more painful because then I didn't have other physical things I was doing. They didn't have other physical things they were doing, or maybe they do. I don't know. But either way, that digital communication was gone, right? And that can really drop you. But like Ryan said, for you to look at yourself and say, "Hey, maybe I'm the problem." I'm really proud of you for being able to do that, but also just because you ask that, all signs point in my mind to you not being the problem.
That's kind of what I think too.
Because somebody who's willing to ask that is usually not the problem. Usually the problem is the person who's blind to it and they're just like, hey, like Ryan was talking about, everybody's stupid. Everybody around me is so stupid, or whatever, right. That person's usually the problem. And the person who's a little bit more introspective and looking to see, okay, is there something wrong with me? Did I do something? I don't know. And so you can look at yourself and you can say, oh, maybe I am the problem. Now, here's the other thing about online conversations. You can go back and read over them again, and you can see where you're the problem.
That's true.
I've noticed that before, too. It's like, oh, my gosh, I said this or I said that, and I shouldn't have said that. And so like you were talking about in your post, Anonymous, about deleting things, if you post something and then you're like, oh, my gosh, maybe I need to not say that. So you delete it or you edit it or whatever, right? And depending on... What's that?
Backspace.
Backspace.
Yeah, you type in your backspace.
Yeah. My hoodie is blending in with the bottom of the... Oh, you thought I was just holding my arm out. That's cool. Anyway, yeah, so you can look at the history and you can say to yourself, okay, what kinds of things could I have done better here? What kind, it gives you a little bit of feedback that way, but it also can drive you crazy. Because then you start looking at everything and you start going back over everything and you're like, oh my gosh, what did they mean when I said this? Did they mean something else? Did I mean something else? What? Oh my gosh, did they take this the wrong way? Blah, 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 blah. And you can start really driving yourself crazy.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you can drive yourself mad.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And I've done it. I've driven myself crazy,
Hmm.
and I know. But Anonymous, I tell you, my heart goes out to you again, like I said, because I know that this hurts. I know when a friend starts to distance themselves, especially when they're important to you, it really hurts. I know that, sometimes there's no good reason for it. Sometimes there is, you know? And either way, it just kind of seems to be how life is. The people that I have close to me now, the people that I have that are friends with me, that I am in close contact with. You got Ryan, you got his brother, you got my buddy Steve, you got another friend of mine, Paul. There's a handful of people, Princess. There's people that I'm close to, and every single one of them, I think the one of them that I met first was Steve, and I didn't meet him until I was like 25 years old. So 4 years ago. Right. Cuz I'm 29.
And you never age. Ridiculous. That's so jealous.
I know, right? But anyway, but all the friends I had growing up, all the friends I had in high school, all the friends I had in college, through all that time, they've all kind of passed into my life and back out of my life. And we were friends for a while, and then we weren't friends. And for whatever reason, sometimes, like there were times, I have a college roommate. We kind of had a falling out, but then we got to be friends again, and he lives like 5 miles away from me, but I still never see him. Right? I hardly ever talk to him. I had to talk to him. Come to think of it. But we just get involved in stuff and we move into those areas, and those things that we get involved in can consume our lives, and we just kind of grow apart. But it's not like we hate each other. There are other friends that I had in college that I absolutely burned bridges with. And those were painful moments. And those were, man, ugh. I would recommend not burning bridges if you can help it. But it's an amazing thing about how life works. Because we might think that we have this friend and they're going to be here. And maybe they'll tell us they're going to be here. And then life starts to kind of happen and get in the way, and life moves us apart. And as painful as it is, sometimes there can be a use for it. Sometimes, and I've heard this said before, not about friendship, but about jobs and also about other relationships, where it's like, hey, sometimes you have to get rid of one in order to make room for the next one that was going to be really, really important and helpful and good, right? So sometimes that's the case. But since we don't know the future, it's tough in the moment. And it's always painful. So one of the things that I've been doing a lot lately and that I've learned to do, and I don't know where you're at, Anonymous, but for me, I'm a Catholic, right? And so I pray, I believe in God, I believe in Jesus, and all this stuff, right? And so what I do is I pray and I ask God to come in and heal that. Because when it comes to matters of the heart, I don't think I could ever heal myself. I mean, time can heal things, but it takes a long time.
I'd rather not wait that long.
I'd rather not wait that long. And so I implore the creator of the universe, whose whole mission when he walked the earth as Christ was a mission of healing. You hear all the stories about him while he's on the earth. He was healing people's sicknesses. I mean, physical illnesses, also mental illnesses, casting out demons, all these things. Like his whole mission was healing. And the heart is his wheelhouse. And he can heal where we can't, where maybe only we can cope. And you can read all kinds of stuff online about best ways to get over somebody, best ways to do whatever. And if it's a strong relationship, it doesn't even have to be a romantic one, but sometimes even a strong friendship will hurt that bad, and so you kind of have to treat it like you're getting out of a romantic relationship and getting over that person, right? But all of those are saying, it's going to take time. You got to give yourself some time. You got to give yourself some space, some distance. You got to remember who you are on your own. And I'll tell you what, Anonymous, I don't know you personally, but I do know that you're infinitely valuable. I know you're infinitely lovable. I know that you are loved by more people than you may even realize. And in this moment, in this time of pain, that is a hard thing to hear. And it's easy to just say, you know what? You're stupid. Shut up. I don't want to hear that. And believe me, I know. Because it just hurts. So, I don't know. I hope some of that makes some sense. I don't know where you're at necessarily right now. But I know for me, the pain kind of comes in waves, comes and goes. The first day was really, really painful a lot of the day, and then the second day is, really, really painful a lot of the day. And then the third day was really, really painful a lot of the day. But it gets lesser and lesser, and the increments, like the wavelength changes, right? So you're not in as deep a pain. And it can help also to take some time to reflect. Sometimes people are in our lives, like I said, for a season, for a purpose. They fulfill that purpose, and then life takes them out of our lives for whatever reason. And it might not be that they hate you. It might not be anything about you. It might just be their life getting busy, or it might just be moving in a different direction, whatever. It may have nothing to do with you whatsoever. But sometimes when we reflect, we can know, you know what? They were here. It was a critical time. It was crucial. And I learned something during that time. I grew during that time. Hopefully, I helped them grow as well. And then the bottom line is, in order to heal fully, we need to learn how to forgive. It's okay. When I say forgive, I don't mean let them off the hook. Right? Because if somebody does something that hurts you, it hurts you. They might not have meant to do it. In fact, 99% of the time, if somebody hurts you, that person didn't mean to do it. Now, there are people that try to hurt others. I've experienced those as well. But most of the time, it's unintentional. They never would want to hurt you. It's just the way things happened hurt you. So forgiveness isn't saying they didn't do anything wrong. Forgiveness is saying they did something that really, really hurt me. And I'm not going to hold on to it anymore. I'm not going to hold on to the anger anymore. I'm going to let go. And, if we have a chance to talk about it, we can talk about how much it hurt, because it's not good for them to go around hurting people, right? So it's good to have some knowledge of that so they can know how to not do that in the future. But at the same time, don't forget, Anonymous, that you are valuable. You have a purpose. You have a reason for being here. And throughout your life, you're going to have lots of people come into your life. You're going to have people come in and leave. Some are going to stick. I promise. It might feel like nobody's sticking right now. But sooner or later, you're going to find some friends that stick. You're going to find some people that stick. And every once in a while, you're going to get really mad at those people. And then there's going to be some drama for a little while. And then, you're going to patch things up and be friends again. It's going to be great. But they're going to stick. So, I don't know. That's what I have, at least to get started. Ryan, I'm going to turn it over to you. Ryan?
Yeah, thanks. Joe, I mean, everything you said is so clear and true. I mean, man, where do I begin? I think you really said a lot of really good things. I mean, wow. It's interesting the way life works, just like Joe was talking about, people come into your life and people go out. And one thing that, as I learned this growing up, as I learned this just probably, I would say right out of college, that started to set in for me, or right out of high school. I mean, as I was getting into college, that sort of started to set in that, people come into my life and people go out of my life. And what I realized was, instead of holding on to people, because a lot of times when I hold on to people, what happens is heartbreak.
Mm-hmm.
I get it in my mind. I get it in my mind that they belong to me, that they're mine, and that they're my friend, and so I deserve them, and they shouldn't leave me, and all of this kind of stuff. And it doesn't make sense. They're their own person, right? I get it into my mind that I deserve them to stay almost, and that's not accurate, right? And so when that kind of started to set in, I realized that I needed to think about how I think about people a little bit different, right? And I came to the conclusion that the best way for me to think about friends, because some of them will come in and stay forever, and some of them will come in for only a season, and some of them will come in for a day, and that's all of it, just a day. Mm-hmm. Met that person for a day. And I realized that instead of focusing on whether it's going to stay or stick or whatever, the important thing is that when I get to meet them, that I make it worth something, right? That I make the time we have together worth something, because that time is limited. Even if they're a friend that's going to stick around forever, our times here are limited, right? And so I look at that and say, what value can we get out of this? Because we're only here for a time, and that's the reality. I'm not going to try to change reality, because, and I know Joe said this last stream, as soon as you look at reality and say, no, I don't like that reality, as soon as you start to not accept reality, your brain starts breaking down and it hurts inside, right? Because your brain wants it to be different and you're not accepting the truth. And it's just a really hard time. But if you can just come to accept reality and say, okay, this is how it is, and that's okay. I'm going to make the best of what it is. I'm not going to try to change it, because there's no chance I can. But what I can do is I can make the best of it, right? And so what I do is, when I meet someone or I have a good friend, anytime I'm around them, I try to remind myself, let's make the best of this. Because we only have a limited amount of time anyways. And the chances are, if I make the best of this now, the friendship's probably going to last longer anyways. But it might not. And that's totally cool. So when I'm talking to people, when I'm meeting someone for the first time, or I'm meeting an old friend, I try to keep my focus on, How am I loving this person? How am I adding to their life? How am I being an example of God's love in the world, right? How am I being service to them and making our lives the best we can? Because friendship is a type of love, right? In fact, they say friendship is the highest form of love. The Greeks did. Friendship is the highest form of love. And the reason they say that is because it doesn't come with all the romance. It doesn't come with all that self-desire, right? True friendship, right, isn't about yourself. It's about the other person. It's, hey, look, I see you're struggling over there. I'm going to come on to help you. Always. No questions asked. You don't owe me anything. We're friends, right? I'm here for you, right? And so, if we can be friends like that, right, I think it takes away a lot of that pain. Takes away a lot of that pain that is just loneliness, right? Because then we're not, see, loneliness a lot of times, not for everybody. This is a specific kind of loneliness that I'm about to talk about. Not everybody's loneliness is this type of loneliness, but there is a type of loneliness that people feel, and it's usually the absence of something they want that they don't have, right? But the reality is they don't have it. And the reality is they can't make choices for other people, right? They want other people to love them. And that's good. We deserve that. We were made for love, right? But love is a choice. And so you can't force that on other people. You just have to allow it to happen when it happens, right? But we end up being lonely because we want for it so much what we cannot have. But that loneliness is focused on yourself. But as soon as we start to get outside of ourselves and share that love to other people, that feeling of loneliness goes away. We forget ourselves and we get wrapped up in the love of this other person, even if it's just friendship. And that feeling of loneliness goes away because not because that person is with us and making us feel loved, but because our mind is now focused on loving, on being a gift. Rather than waiting to receive the gift, we become the gift and we feel fulfilled and we don't feel that loneliness sinking in. But then it comes back. A lot of times it comes back because, oh, that person's gone. And your mind shifts back to yourself because yourself is the only one standing there and that's what you see. And so that's what you think about. And you're like, oh, I'm alone. There's no one here. And so you crave someone to be with you again. And that's really hard. And so if you feel that, Anonymous, the best thing you can do is meet people and just love on them and try to slowly change your brain, the way that it works, the way that it perceives the world, away from that desire for people to love on you, away from that friends need to stop leaving me type of mentality, and just be a person that says, I need to get out there and be a really good friend to other people. I need to share this gift I have that is myself and that is friendship, that is love. And then what happens is your brain just shifts away from that and it doesn't think about how you're lonely anymore because it doesn't need that. It realizes it doesn't need people all the time to love on you, right? What you need is honestly self-love, right? You need to love yourself, right? A lot of times people are lonely because they don't love who they are. And it's really hard sometimes to love who you are. But I think it's really important to know this. Loving yourself and accepting yourself are two very different things, right? Sometimes we don't accept ourselves, and that's good because we're not perfect. We do stupid stuff that's unacceptable. And it's okay to say that about yourself. But to love yourself is to understand, hey, yeah, what I did is unacceptable. Who I am, sometimes it's unacceptable, but I still love myself. I hold myself above that. I'm not going to beat myself up. You know, these type of things, loneliness is an interesting thing. And there's all sorts of different facets to it. And there's all different kinds of types. But to overcome that a lot of times is to, I don't know, is to reshape the way you think about the world and the way you think about other people and the way you think about yourself. So it's not easy. Um, it's very difficult and it takes time. All things are gradual, but they're worth it, right? You know, as Joe was saying, and as I had mentioned from the start of this, if you're willing to admit, hey, maybe I'm the problem, that kind of person usually isn't the problem because they're already the person navigating the conversations, trying to make sure that they're not the problem in the first place.
Yes.
Usually, people that are the problems are the people who aren't trying to navigate the conversation so that they're not offensive. People who don't understand that they're offensive. And that's usually a problem. That's usually the people it's like, okay, I can't be friends with them because they clearly just don't understand. They don't care about me. You know, it's like, clearly, you know, I can't get it through their head. So we have to end it. I don't know. Like, I can't take it anymore, you know, but that doesn't sound like that's the kind of person you are. So, if you think that you're that kind of person, that's totally fine. You know, when I said me questioning myself was one of the best things I ever did for my relationships, it really was. And in some ways, I was the problem. For me, a lot of times, I was the problem because I was so afraid of what other people thought that I couldn't be myself. I was so afraid of what other people thought that I could not be myself. I refused to speak. I refused to be open. I just closed myself off. And so no one wanted to be my friend because no one knew who I was. No one wanted to be my friend because I wouldn't let them. I wouldn't let them in to know who I was. You know? How am I supposed to make friends when I'm not even who I am, right? And so I had to that was something that I recognized in myself. I said, you know what? I don't have very many friends. Maybe it is me. Maybe I'm doing things wrong. And what I realized is I was. And I had to start being, you know, start acting like the person I wanted to be, the person that doesn't care about what other people think, so that I could actually have people think good things about me. Because otherwise they don't think about me at all. You know, they're just like, I don't know, that kid's in the corner. You know, he's whatever. You know. So I find it super impressive that you are trying to fix this and you're looking at yourself. And I think that's really great. And if you find something there, that's awesome. One of the things I remember saying a long time ago that helped me was, if I see something in somebody else that I really like about them, that's good. And I should try to do the same things. If I see someone go out of their way to help someone else out and I go, wow, that was really nice of them, I'm going to grade myself on that. I'm going to go, okay, I should be doing that. If I think that's nice of them to do it, then I should do that too. I should be that kind of person. Right? Because that's attractive. They did a nice thing. That's attractive to me. I should be that attractive person. And so, you know, those are ways that I remember being productive about self-blame. Because you don't want to blame yourself and say, oh, maybe it's me. Maybe I'm doing something wrong, and then go nowhere with it except for self-hate. No, you want to look at that and say, maybe it is me. What can I be improving on? And move that into a forward direction, right? That's the best thing you can do. But as Joe was saying, you know, sometimes, like a lot of times, it's not you in this instance. It's just life. It's just friendship. It's just people. And that's how it goes. You know, it's funny because we have computers now and we feel like we should be more attached than ever because we have the ability to be more attached than ever. And yet we live in a world where we feel more disconnected than ever. And the reason is because we're so free. You know, 200 years ago, you know, they didn't have computers. Everybody lived in their town for their whole life, and so did their kids. Everybody knew everybody. There was no escaping it. Now, We have the whole world at our fingertips. We can go here and we can go there, and we're barely anywhere for a season. You know, we go to a place and we're like, okay, yeah, I had fun here, but then I found this new place and I'm having fun there. So off I go, you know, and that's the way it is now. And so to have people that will really last a long time in a friendship nowadays is hard. It's hard. It's just the new reality, and it's just true. But they're out there, and they very well, very much do happen. And it's wonderful when it happens. But don't go around life looking for that to happen. Go around life looking to make the best of everyone you meet. The best scenario out of every scenario, you know, like when you meet someone, just try to give them your best. Because here's the thing. I was getting into this earlier, then I ended up going off on a tangent. I said friendship
That
is
never happens.
yeah, that never I don't know, I'm just lying now. Wow. My gosh. I'm making things up. Okay, so love. When you want to love on people, here's the thing. Love is an amazing thing because love exists. You know, we can give love and we lose nothing from it. In fact, a lot of times when we give love, we actually gain something, even though it feels like we're giving something up, right? Love is an amazing thing because it persists in the other person. And as you love on someone, you grow inside of them and they grow inside of you. And that is an anomaly. It is profound. It is a miracle. It is beyond understanding. But when we really give someone our all, even if it's only for a few short days that we meet them, when we love on them, that love stays in them. It shapes who they are. It does. It shapes who they are inside. Because you add unto them your love, your experiences, right? And that alters them forever. And that's amazing. Mm-hmm. You have that kind of power. I think that's way more important to be focusing on that. To say, you know what, I met this individual for a short period of time, and for whatever reason, they're too busy for me now. They're gone. Okay. Instead of going, oh, they're too busy for me, and going, poor me, right? You can say, wow, I was in their life for a season, and I helped shape them. I helped change who they are. I helped add to their heart, add to their ability to love. And that's beautiful. So off you go into the world. And wherever you go, you take a small part of that love that I gave you with you. Your experiences from now on, I don't know what they're going to be. But the time I had with you, I loved you. And that is amazing. It's incredible. So focus on that. Focus on that instead. And I think that that feeling of pain that they didn't stay with you and it was worthless, and all that time you spent trying to cultivate that friendship and it's just gone. That's not the truth. All that time you spent, that shapes them. All that time you spent, you loved them and they loved you as a friend. And that is beautiful. And that's what it's about. That's what it's about. That's why you have friends in the first place. You succeeded. And now they go off into life and you're in them and they're in you. I mean, geez. I think if you can focus on that instead of feeling betrayed or feeling like your time was not spent productively because it all fell apart, that's bogus. That's not true. It's not even true. Because there is something there. There was that love, and that love continues to reside in them. Like, that's the honest truth. It wasn't a waste of time. It's impossible to call that a waste of time. They have memories, you have memories, shared experiences, and you take that with you. And there's no waste of time there. It's a very good and beautiful thing. And now they get to go out into the world and meet new people. And that's cool. So yeah, I hope that's helpful and helps at least in some way give you, a new perspective and helps you overcome this pain that you're feeling. Because I get it. It's painful. But that stuff is important. And you'll get through this. But yeah, give it back to you, Joe.
I'm gonna ask Princess if she has any experience that might be beneficial in this realm. Princess, are you there?
I am here, and I have very much dealt with this.
Mm.
I've been, I could easily have written these words myself, honestly, with my own experiences.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I remember even as young as third grade, I recognized that life seemed to throw at me, that it would give me people, I'd be a friend, I would love them, and they would leave. They would grow up and they'd get to have a whole bunch of friends, lots of them. They would get to enjoy friendship circles. They would get to enjoy all beautiful and wonderful things. And often I didn't get to enjoy that. And it was very hard because on one hand, I did the best that I could and I looked at myself. I asked, what am I doing wrong? If every friendship I does end this way, is there something wrong with me? Is it the way I'm acting? I've tried that. I've looked at, is it the way I'm approaching them? Am I not giving them enough attention and care? Am I not paying attention to their signs? Am I doing this or that or the other thing? But friendship is a two-way road. It will never, love can be given in one direction. You can give love, but a friendship is still a two-way road. For to have a friendship, there needs to be two sides of that coin. You can be a friend to someone else, but that's not being friends with someone else. It's an act, not a state of being in some way. At least from my perspective. I have a very different perspective, I feel, in that regard. But again, one of the biggest things is love yourself and don't blame yourself, because there are many times where you're going to do things, all right, that's not going to work. You're going to do things and you're going to do something right and you're going to do some things wrong and you're going to try to make it work. Still ain't going to work. There's a time where you're going to do it what feels like all wrong. That's going to work for a while and then it's not. That's going to be like, I don't understand what's going on. But sometimes it's hard because the thing is there is another person that is in this equation and you don't get to choose what they do. You don't get to choose whether they love you back or whether they don't. You don't get to choose how they're going to act or how much they're going to give you attention or do all of those things that you might be mentally doing as your checklist. There is, again, a friendship in some ways is, completely open to the person does what they do and you do what you do. And it's a give and take that is not based on requirements. There's no requirement for them to do so. It's out of love that they do so. So you can, just because one side gives more or the other doesn't mean it's going to be equal. But that also might mean that it doesn't have to be for there to be a friendship. But, keep in mind that it's also not the end of the world either. It hurts. And again, if they're saying, or if you're getting signs that, the friendship isn't worth it to them, you're not going to make it worth it to them.
Mm.
You don't
Right.
have the ability to have them see worth in it. No matter how much bribing you do, no matter how much you try and make it the sweetest deal in the world, there is no way that you get to make that choice, because that's a choice that they get to make.
Very well said.
Mm-hmm.
And that hurts. I don't want that to be a lie that it's not going to hurt, or that you can just think your way out of it, in some ways. Because, it's very natural to feel hurt. Now, you can, again, find your crutches to cope, or find ways to forgive, to move on, or you can look at it from a new perspective to feel better and to, again, work towards moving forward. But I also think that it's worth acknowledging the pain, because if you don't acknowledge the pain, then it's simply going to build inside, either bottled up in some bottle that'll break, or it'll just start piling upon you like layers of snow.
Mm-hmm.
And it might seem like, oh, it's so small in the moment, but that snow, when it's really snowing out there, it gets 12 feet deep and you can't see in front of you, because all you see is snow.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's very true.
again, keep in mind that, again, the people in school are not always going to be the people around you as well. I found that school was never the right environment for me. I had to hear it from a teacher who told me, someday people will appreciate who you are and what you bring to a friendship. But none of my classmates really ever did. They would vote me, as in, if they wanted somebody who was going to be the top person who's going to protect them from a bully, surprisingly, it was me. I don't know how that happened. I really don't. But apparently they were like, yeah, if I think there was someone who was going to be my friend and defend me, it'd be that person. But none of them talked to me during lunch. None of them would say hi in the hallway. None of them gave me a smile or anything of the sort, usually passing by. And they only really seemed to notice me in times when I was highly distressed, and I showed it for once, with perplexed looks and some looks of concern. But, just because you're in an environment doesn't mean that that's the place where you're going to find your friends. Because, I found that in other environments like work or even in college, things are very different. And I found people who appreciated me.
Mm-hmm.
And you should feel appreciated, I think. Now, is everything going to be perfect in a friendship? No. It's like any relationship. Nothing is going to be perfect, and people are going to make mistakes. You're going to make mistakes, and they're going to make mistakes. Mm-hmm. And what makes a friendship is the ability to forgive and to move forward. Because if you can't, then that's gonna make for a very rough relationship, as I'm sure Ryan has said before on multiple occasions. But friends are people who are willing to endure that and to move forward from times that those happen. Mm-hmm. And sometimes people have a hard time with that, and they can't for some things, and they can for others. But all you can really do is give the best foot forward, and with your heart open, and again, be the best person that you can try to be. I'm sure that in that you'd want to go back and listen to Ryan's advice, and Joe had some really good advice too. I'm sorry, I can't remember specific things to tie to it, Joe, but
that's all right. It was mostly nonsensical anyway. It's okay.
No,
it was good.
It was really good.
Just like my words are probably good. I probably wouldn't say so, but
they are. You can rest assured. But I do like.
Anyways, I will hand it back to them.
Right on. Thank you, Princess. I wanted to mention one thing, because you kind of every time something like this happens, anytime a life change like this happens, we have a choice. We can either grow bitter or we can grow better. I know that's kind of cliche. Bitter or better. I've heard people say this kind of stuff, right? But it really is true. And that's why I think one of the things that Ryan was talking about is so important. And that is that, when you think of to get that shift in perspective of saying, instead of, oh my gosh, this is my friend, to thinking, how can I be a friend? And then it doesn't matter if they come or go or whatever, but how can I be the best friend that I can be for the time that I have? Because none of us are with everybody all the time, or with any one person all the time. Even when we get married to somebody, a lot of times we only sleep there in the same house, maybe eat some meals together or whatever. But, like, most of the time when somebody gets married to somebody, you still both have work to do, or somebody's got work to do. And so they got to go do something else for a big portion of the day. So we're not always around these people, right? But the time that we have with them, how can we make that the best? How can we show them that we love them while we're with them? That was so huge, because it really takes the shift, because it's so hard when you're dealing with the loss of a friend, dealing with that, heartache. It's so easy to get consumed by it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so easy to get drawn in by it. And we all do to some degree. But it always helps to be reminded that, yeah, this isn't about how much I can get from this. This is about how much I can give to this.
Right.
And it becomes beautiful the more we give, and we feel more assured of ourselves the more we give, and we feel better about ourselves the more we give. There's all kinds of great things that can happen. And I love what Princess was just saying about, what? The current environment you're in, this might not be where you find your friends. There will come a time when you're doing something else. Maybe you'll be surrounded by some people. Who knows? And who knows what that thing is? It might be your job. It might be college. It might be an extracurricular activity. It might be something you like to do. It might be a hobby. It might be collecting beads.
You might find somebody else stuck in a room with someone.
Maybe that's it. Yeah,
bicycling buddies.
Yep, exactly. It might be picking up a hitchhiker. Don't do that. Sorry.
I did.
I know.
I did many times when I was in inspections.
I will not condone the picking up of hitchhikers, because there are some dangerous folks out there.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes. Okay. Before picking up a hitchhiker, please contact your lawyer.
Yeah.
And get professional guidance on what, I don't know.
Legal counsel. Call a police officer. Ask them.
Police officer. Yeah. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yep. But anyway.
Anyways.
So yes, that's not what I was trying to say. But yeah, remember, who, just because this circle of people is around you now, that doesn't mean that's who you're going to get your best friends out of. My therapist said to me at my last session, actually, she's like, yeah, I know a guy who didn't meet his soulmate, romantic person until he was 60.
Yeah, I know a guy like that too.
And they love each other, but they didn't even know each other existed for the first 60 years of their lives. Right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's crazy how life works. And life is full of good and bad. Life is full of joy and pain. Life is full of, bliss and suffering. All two sides, the yin and the yang, right? I mean, we experience all of it. But just because something hurts doesn't mean it's not valuable. And just because something feels good doesn't mean it's all that valuable. It can be, for sure. But I always try to remind myself, when I'm in the depths of pain that hurts so bad, I always try to remind myself, you know what? There's value here. There's something here that's going to teach me something. There's something here that's it's going to tenderize my heart in a way to serve another person. There's something happening here that's going to be helpful to me and to the world around me by experiencing this. It's not a very comforting thought because it doesn't make the pain go away. But at least it gives it some purpose. And sometimes we will endure pain for purpose a lot better than if we're just sitting there thinking about how much pain we're in. So maybe that can help too. But anyway, that's all I got. We've talked for a while. This is a great topic, Anonymous. Thank you so much. But Ryan, you got anything else?
No, I think we pretty much covered that one, hopefully very thoroughly. And I hope that anonymous person, that it was helpful. Sorry it took so long to say everything we said, but we had a lot to say apparently. So it was a very good topic.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we should move on. There was one on here. I don't know if this anonymous person is here, but we promised to do it today. So I think it'd probably be good to go ahead and get it out of the way.
All right. We promised it. Anonymous, thank you very much for your topic.
Yeah.
And and also remember, if you're on Discord or whatever, hey, if you need to reach out, reach out. If you're looking, if you need somebody to talk to, my DM's open.
Yep.
I'm
You can
pleb.
always talk to me as well.
Yep. Feel free to reach out.
Yeah, I'm pleb. You can just reach out to me anytime.
I'm Static P's friend.
Or you can contact Princess. She goes by pleb on Discord. You can contact her anytime.
Yep, we're
Here
all
are the
just
actual
pleb.
tags if you need them.
Thank you, Princess.
Shall we move on?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're gonna do this one. I don't know if they're here or not, but they asked us to do it today. So if they're not, we can just send it to them. This is from an anonymous person. And anybody else who is here waiting for their topic, we have more time, so stick around. We should be able to get to yours. But anyways, so this one is from anonymous. Princess posted in the chat for you guys if you want to read along.
It's anonymous. It's anonymous.
Yes.
Anonymous. We had a song on the single dual album called Ominous Anonymous.
Ominous Anonymous. I love that.
Yeah.
Such a great title.
I even listened to it today.
Did you? That's great.
I did.
This one's also about friends. So if the last anonymous person, you didn't get your fill on the whole friendship thing, maybe this will help. It's titled Online Friends, and Princess has in the chat there for you if you want to read along. Go for it, Princess.
Frequently, I deal with the thought that online friends I talk to semi-regularly and I'm close to will disappear a year later or stop talking to me because they no longer use Discord or insert the platform of your choice. Insert the platform's name of your choice. I feel that if I don't break through the barrier of just being an online friend, I will never actually be able to remain actual friends with someone. I want to be special to them, a close friend. How can I accomplish this? Or is my reasoning wrong? On that note, what do friends do that let them stay friends? From Anonymous.
That is a good
wow,
question.
This is a great great thing to navigate into next. Fantastic question. Yeah, I think that a lot of what we just said, Anonymous, I would hope you would watch that segment too, because it can be helpful leading into this. But yeah, how it is interesting that a lot of times friends that you make online, some of them can stick around for years. It's rare though. Most of the time you make an online friend and you're like really good friends for like a month, and then life happens and you never talk again. And it just happens. And I really like what you said about, is it possible that there's a transition where you take that online friend and you make them a real life friend, so that even when they leave the online atmosphere, they stay your friend? Is there a way you can accomplish this? And you know. Your last one is on that note. What do friends do that let them stay friends? I think that's a fantastic question, because there's definitely something to that question. Um, there isn't. I think that sharing niches, right? Sharing things that you do together is really important. But there's also a sort of like obligate obligatory things that you do on a daily basis, and if those interchange with each other, if those are things where you have to interact with each other on, usually helps. Or things that you're interested in together, and you both happen to be a part of doing that thing. Those type of things usually help a lot. Um, but even when you think you have those things, that person can disappear. So, um, anyways, I'm gonna give it to Joe and see what he's got to say about the topic.
Hmm. This is a good topic, and like Ryan just said, if you want to go back and listen to the previous topic, the one about friendship troubles, a lot of the stuff will interchange here as well. But as far as transitioning from online friend to IRL friend, that's interesting. And I don't know, excuse me, I don't know how much experience I have with this. I'm fairly new to the online friend realm. And so it's interesting though because when you get an online friend, you get to know each other. Most of the time, it's in a chat, or something, or in a DM or whatever. You get to know somebody a little bit there, and so you're kind of being online friends, whatever. And then maybe you graduate on to a voice chat or video chat or something like that, and then it moves into that realm. And then maybe after a while and you trust each other, you start talking about, where each other live, and talking about, okay, well, maybe exchange phone numbers. So then you have a direct line to their phone, not just their app that they're using, but their actual phone number. So there's a progression of things that can happen, and I wouldn't try to push any of that. I wouldn't try and make a priority of trying to push into those realms. I would try and let these things happen naturally, if you can, right? Because then what happens is you have somebody that's genuine. It's not somebody that you've kind of sold into being your friend in real life, but it's an actual genuine friend. And that's interesting. One of the things to remember here, Anonymous, that yes, we want to have people in our lives that we have as special. And I'll go back to what Ryan said. It's not necessarily what we're getting out of this. Not the fact that we have a friend of ours, but it's how am I being a friend to them? How am I enriching their lives? How am I doing that? And that's really the top question to ask. And we can do everything right, and it won't work. Because it's people. We can do everything wrong, and it will work. Because it's people. And people are messed up.
People are stupid. They don't understand.
People are inconsistent. People are emotional. People they don't fit into a mold. It always cracks me up when my kids will go to the doctor and they'll talk about what percentile of height and weight and all this stuff they're in. Like there's some kind of perfect number they're supposed to be in. Like everybody needs to be in the 50th percentile. Like what are you talking about? Like or your body mass index is, like you're this age and you're this height. Your BMI should be this. And it's like, really? What if my bones? What if my bones are extra, heavy, because they're powerful? Come feel how powerful my head bone is. I'm gonna head bop you in the head with my head. That's
I
bad.
like that one. I'm
Don't
gonna call them the head boppins.
the head
From now on.
boppins.
I'm gonna head bop you.
I'm gonna head bop you right in the head with my head.
Mhm.
Um, but anyway, you know, transitioning from online to IRL, a lot of times you gotta figure out how to share some IRL experiences,
Mhm.
like Ryan was talking about. Is it a thing that you do? Is it like an activity that you're both doing? Is it whatever? And sometimes, I mean, I have online friends from all over the world, right? And I'm sure you guys do too. If you're in Discord, if you're even here on YouTube or any other type of social media platform, you have friends that are so far away from you, it's highly unlikely that you'll ever meet them in person. It's true.
Mhm.
I have friends that live in the Philippines. I have friends that live in Australia. I live in Michigan in the United States. I have friends that live all over the United States of America. And it's funny because most of these people, I don't know if I'll ever meet them in person. A lot of them, maybe I'll never even hear their voice in a voice chat. I might just see lines of text from them. But you know what? I'm gonna hang my hat again on what Ryan said. Even in real life, people come and go. Online, people come and go. It just happens that way. And sometimes people stick. My longest standing friend that I'm still in contact with is Steve. Steve from A Single Duel. And, we've been friends since 2005. So how long is that? 16 years? Yeah, that was the last time I had a vacation. It was right before I met Steve. But I'm on vacation now for the first time since then.
Yeah, you're on one right now.
I'm on vacation.
Jeez, 16 years.
16 years.
Ridiculous.
Yep, but he's been a close friend of mine for 16 years. Now, there were times when we didn't hang out a whole lot.
There were times where you couldn't.
There were times when we couldn't. But you know what? Here's the thing. You want people to be a really good friend of yours, or at least have a chance to have them be a really good friend of yours. Be there with them during critical moments. When somebody's having a hard time and needs a friend, you might not even have anything to say that might help them or whatever, but the fact that you're there and that you don't think they're a loser, or you don't think they're a screw up, or you don't think they're all messed up because something bad is happening in their life. Because when things are bad in somebody's life, a lot of times that's when a lot of friends start to split. They're like, nope, this is too stressful. This is too hard. I can't deal with this. I got my own stuff to deal with. I can't hang out with this person. But if you can be a friend to someone when they're going through hard times, you'll develop a bond. They'll develop a bond with you. You'll develop a bond with them. And even if you don't talk for a while, when you do talk again, it'll be like picking right back up where you left off. Steve and I have both been through, there for each other through hard times that he's been through, hard times that I've been through. And in some cases, we were the only one there of friends outside of family. And I remember it was so crazy Because I was there for Steve when he was going through a really tough time, right? And I remember, who was it? It was a coworker's husband said to me, because I was there and he was going through all this stuff and he had court stuff to deal with. There's all kinds of craziness, right? And this guy was like, well, so why were you there? Why were you there at court with him? Does he owe you money or something? I'm like, no, he's my friend. And I've been through situations at courts before too. It's a hard place to be when you're by yourself. Even if you have a lawyer, it can be hard. And there was nothing I could do for him at the court, but I was there. And just being there can mean so much. So if you have online friends, I think one of the best ways to build bonds is through being there through some difficult times. And if you can not shy away from someone when they're doing something, when something's going on in their life, or even if they've screwed up and done something wrong and they're bearing the consequences for it, even if they totally did a wrong thing, for you to still be their friend, that can mean the world to someone. So I'd recommend that. And even like I said, you might do all that and they still might not be your friend forever. Who knows? Because it's people and it's life and it's unpredictable and it's crazy. But that's what I have. Ryan, I'm turning it to you. Take it away.
Yeah. Yeah, that was actually really well said, Joe. I think I had one more thing under that is, if you're the person in trouble needing a friend, allow them to be that person for you.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's really such an honor to be that person. That's the friend that's there for someone. It is an honor to be that person. And to ask them to do that for you is asking a great honor. And if they accept it, you know what kind of friend they are. If they don't accept it, you know what kind of friend they are. Mm-hmm. Right? It doesn't mean they're a bad friend if they don't accept it. It's just, they're not the kind of friend that at that moment in time, it might change as life goes on, but at that moment in time, they aren't ready for that. But if you can be a person that if you're going through a hard time, you can ask your friends to be there for you. I think that, imagine the times that you're there for other people and how good that feels to help other people. Allow other people to experience that. And that really is a beautiful thing, and it makes them feel good. There's one thing I've said many times, and I'll say it again. What matters most in dealing with people is not how you look to them. It's how they feel about themselves when you're around them, right? That's it. That's the most important thing. If you want friends, don't worry about how cool you look. Don't worry about how good of actions you take. Don't look about how impressive you can be. Don't look at any of that. Don't concern yourself over that. Because honestly, you think about all the best friends you've ever had in life. It's those people that you feel the best about yourself when you're around. Mm-hmm. I mean, I know that's so true for all my friends. All the people that I hold the closest are just, when I'm around them, I feel respected. I feel like my opinion matters. And I feel good inside. I feel like I'm around the kind of people that'll make me a better person. Those type of things. Those are the type of things that make a friendship last forever. Because those are the types of things that matter. You can have friends that you have a really fun time I know I have a couple of friends in high school. I had a blast with them. I felt so alive, and it was so awesome. It was just, man, such a great experience. So joyful. But I don't talk to them anymore. And it's not because it was bad experience. Nothing bad ever happened. We eventually just parted ways because we got out of high school and life happened. We got into college and we never went to go see each other, and we never talked online or anything, and that was fine. There was no hard feelings about that. But friends aren't usually made in the like super super close friends aren't usually made without having a testing period, without a trial, without, I guess, something to respect them for. Good friends that last forever, are friends that respect each other, friends that hold each other high, not friends that just have a good time together, not friends that just share the same kind of interests, but friends who look at each other and say, man, I respect that man. And any chance I get, I kind of just want to be around him because it feels good. And it's not like it feels good just because we're doing fun things. Fun things, they're fickle. Fun things, they're emotions that last a couple of seconds until you turn off the fun time button, whatever. You play a video game together, have fun, cool. Turn it off. Okay, you're not having fun anymore. That's not friendship. Really. It's just a fun time. There's a lot of things that are a fun time that aren't even good for you. Like getting drunk. Go to a bar, you meet someone, get drunk together. Is that your friend? Oh yeah, I had a blast with him. We're good friends now. He told me about this thing. I told him about that thing. We know each other so well. It's hilarious. It's great.
What's his
such
name?
a great time together.
I don't know. What's his name again?
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. But do you really respect that person? How do you respect a person when it's all about the activity of fun? I think that matters a lot. So if you're looking for someone who will be, if you're looking for someone that will be a friend outside of, like, if they leave Discord and they're still, they still exist in the world, and you want them to reach out to you. You want to be a friend that's not just over one platform, but no matter what happens in life. Respect. I know there's a couple of people I can call when I'm down. I know there's a couple of people that I can call and say, I don't know how to solve this problem I'm having, but I know who I can call. If you want lifetime friends, that's kind of what that is. And that, how do you get there? Well, it's usually not through the activities. It can be. It's not usually always through fun. It can be. I'll tell you that a lot of times it's how you treat each other. For the time that you have together. You don't have long. Sometimes you only have a day to make it happen. But if you make that person feel respected, it isn't always going to work out, but if you make them feel respected sometimes, every once in a great while, they will respect you too. And then when you have that connection of respect that's shared, they keep on reaching back. They keep on reaching out to you. They keep on reaching out to you, and they keep on reaching out to you. Because you matter. They want your respect because they respect you so much, right? And you're just like, I gotta talk to that person. So, like I said, if you want to make friends, what matters most is not what you look like, but how they feel about themselves, right? But if you want to keep a friend, I'm gonna have to say, My conclusion is it's respect. My conclusion is that it's when you respect each other so much that it doesn't even matter if you have differing opinions. You look at it and you go, I respect this individual so much that this difference of opinion, I actually trust them on their difference of opinion. But I'm not going to believe that. I'm not going to believe them, but I respect them so much that it's 100% okay that they don't think that. Like, think what I think. And I don't know. I know that they respect me too. When you respect someone that much, it's just easy, I think, to be friends and stay friends.
Mm-hmm.
So, making friends, not hard. Keeping friends, yeah, that's hard. Because you both have to learn to respect each other to such a high degree that's so rare in this world. Respect is rare in this world.
Mm-hmm.
It is. So that's the hard thing. But it starts by you respecting them. Because if they feel respected, you give them the opportunity to respect you back. Most people aren't going to respect you without that opportunity. If you don't play them the cards, if you don't play out your cards in front of them to say, hey, look, I'm playing the respect card, they're generally people don't want to give it back. People don't want to give you trust. They are too afraid of being broken again by someone. People don't want to give you respect. They're too afraid of being disrespected because they've been disrespected.
Mm-hmm.
But if you can be brave and give respect, it gives them the opportunity to be brave back. And that's my best answer. I wish you the best on that. That's it. I think that's it. I could be wrong. I'm just speculating here, but I think that's it. I'm gonna give it back over to Joe. Do you got anything you want to say on that?
Yeah, I think that's absolutely true. I think another thing that's important to have is grace and forgiveness.
Yes, so true. Mm-hmm. Yes, yeah. There is no friendship without forgiveness.
Yep, because mutual respect is absolutely wonderful, and the grace and forgiveness can kind of pour out of the respect that you have for each other as well, right? But that's one thing to remember is that, if you're going to have a friend for a long time, you're going to step on each other's toes.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to hurt each other. There's going to be ups and downs. Some of the ups are going to be great. Some of the downs are going to be real low.
Yeah.
Somebody's going to get hurt. I promise. Because that's what people do. We're not perfect. We screw up. I've screwed up a lot. That's my qualifier for doing this show. How can you do a show about helping people with their problems? Because I've had a lot of problems and I've screwed everything up multiple times. I'm good at it.
Good. I mean, tell them what not to do, at least.
That's right.
Don't do what I did.
I can tell you, you know what? So I've been there. I know how much it's terrible. But man, I'll tell you, we're all of us. See, the thing is none of us are perfect. Somebody's going to do something that offends you're going to offend your friend. You're going to miss something. You're going to do something. You're going to accidentally, and like I said in the previous topic, you're not going to do it because you're trying to hurt them. Mm-hmm. Right? You might just be doing it because you're having a crummy day or something bad's going on in your life. And, sometimes, we get under stress for sure. And we can lash out at the people closest to us. And that can be hard. Right? Because we're the most comfortable with them. I talk to Ryan a lot when I'm going through stuff. And I'm sure he's gotten some earfuls from me about all kinds of craziness. Well, I'm all hijacked, like freaking out because something's going on, and whatever. But that's how life is. That's how humans are. And so every once in a while, we're gonna do something that hurts our friend, and all we can do is hope that they have the grace to forgive us for what we do, and then also they're gonna do something that hurts us. There's going to be a time, man, when you're going to have a really close friend and you're going to feel like the wind got knocked out of you because of something they did or something they forgot to do or something that they, whatever it is. And I don't care how close of a friend it is. I don't care how perfect the friendship has been. Something's going to happen. And somebody's going to get hurt. And in that moment when you get hurt by your friend, are you going to be able to forgive them? Because really, first of all, that's the way to heal, is through the forgiveness. It's the way to heal the hurt in you.
Absolutely.
Is through forgiveness. But then the other thing is that's also the way the friendship can heal, is through that forgiveness. Can we forgive? When I was younger and I got betrayed by some friends of mine, they didn't mean to. They were just caught up in the moment, right? And all of a sudden, I was kind of the one at the receiving end of the gang up session of everybody, being mean. And I had some really close friends that were in the gang up session being mean to me because they got caught up in it. Everybody was kind of just laughing, ha, stare, whatever. It was fun. And so I got caught, and I was the one on the receiving end of it. And I felt really betrayed. I felt really, really hurt. I remember that was a defining moment for me that I still dealt with, problems with, into my adult life, into just a few years ago. When I did this program called Healing the Whole Person by the John Paul II Institute, and my priest recommended it to me. And so it did all these exercises and had me go back, and I ended up back at this moment. And it was amazing because I remember, and then I had to relive all the emotion of that moment, right? It was tough because that was like one of my earliest moments of betrayal, one of the earliest, most painful moments. And what had happened, it defined me in a way where I closed off to people. I was just like, forget you, forget all of you, forget everybody, in fact. I'm just going to be a jerk. Because everybody else is a jerk to me. So forget them. I'll just be a jerk first. Right?
I'm going to be a jerk anyways, so
right.
Why even pretend? I'm just going to start this out the right way.
Exactly.
Where it's going to end.
Yep. I wasn't physical. I wasn't physically violent or anything like that. I was just mean. And I didn't want to talk to anybody. And I had a few close friends that were easy to get along with, luckily, because they got along with me. But seriously, if I had known then what I know now about forgiveness and about healing and all that stuff, man, oh man, it would have saved me years of anguish. And I'd probably have more friends, more closer friends. Probably be the case. But yeah, so respect, definitely. Respect each other. Respect them. Don't worry about how much they respect you back right now. But respect them. You can't choose for them how much they respect you. But I'll tell you what, your chances are better of them respecting you if you respect them and they know it. And then when stuff happens, because stuff's going to happen and it's going to hit the fan, grace, forgiveness, understand that, you know what, that's a human being. They look out at the world like you look out at the world. And they have a perspective all their own, just like you. So why wouldn't we respect them? It's an amazing thing. So anyway, that's what I got. Ryan, back to you.
No, I really don't have anything else. I think that was very well said. Forgiveness is super important. Um, can't have friendship without forgiveness because eventually your friendship will just be destroyed because you can't forgive.
Right.
Um,
And somebody's gonna do something.
Somebody's gonna hurt someone. Um,
It's true.
oh, the night is through. And
I probably
so, yeah.
hurt your feelings, Anonymous, and I'm sorry.
Yeah, we're sorry.
Please forgive
We
me.
didn't mean to. Yeah, we just want to help, but it's easy to hurt people on accident. So easy, so easy.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay. It's easy to be hurt on accident.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So sometimes you got to forgive yourself. Sometimes
right.
you got to forgive them for something they didn't even do.
It's also easy to get caught up when somebody does something wrong and somebody gets upset, and then it escalates, and then it goes back and forth, and then it can get crazy.
Yeah.
And we'll say all kinds of things we don't want to say. We'll do all kinds of things we don't want to do. All kinds of stuff.
Yeah. Right? It's not a joke. That happens.
Mm-hmm.
To everybody.
And then can we move past it? That's the real question. Right. And if you can, you got a real strong friendship there.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Exactly. So
there is one thing I'd like to reiterate.
Oh yeah, again, go for it.
Yes. Which is, and again, I think this was very well brought up in the previous topic that we covered, but you specifically say that I want to be special to them. Keep in mind that that's not something that you get to choose on their behalf. Mm-hmm. That's not something you can force them into. It's going to be them and their choice and their thoughts on whether you are special to them. That is not something that you can force or make. You can, again, try and encourage an environment of that, doing these things. But when you're in a relationship, it's a two-way road, and you don't get to choose what the other person does. All you can do is give what you have.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You do what you do.
Yep. But don't do the do because that'll rot your teeth. I
thought the do is like keeping your hair from getting wet when you're swimming in a pool.
Oh, I meant
that'll
Dew,
rot
and
your
I was
teeth.
kidding. Yeah, that'll rot your teeth right out. If you put your hair up in a net when you're about to swim, your teeth stand no chance. What protection do they have now?
Anyway, sorry.
I don't know. Just kidding. You can drink Mountain Dew if you want. So, yeah.
Don't Worry Wednesday, brought to you by Coca-Cola. Don't drink Mountain Dew.
Don't drink Mountain Dew.
Hashtag not sponsored.
That's right. Oh, that's great. Yeah. So, perfect. I think that about covers the topic. So thank you so much for the topic, Anonymous. Mm-hmm. I hope that you got a chance to hear it. If you weren't here, we'll make sure to send this to you.
We will.
Cool. So how's the chat? How you guys doing? Holding up? We've got another half hour. So
Meow's here. We got a topic from Meow.
Yeah, we do. I'm gonna run through the list of names, and
whoever's Garo might have a topic that they're working out here as well. So
okay. Does anyone have a topic that is urgent? Needs addressing this very week, or it is no longer a necessary topic to cover?
It is November 17th.
It is November 17th.
Excuse me.
Which is a Wednesday, if you can believe that. Yeah. So I am going to run through the list of names.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go. Nope. Speaking of.
Dang it. Speaking of,
so we got Ian Lam, Ezekiel Gibbs, Dracon, LG, Toast, Immature, Success, Anonymous, Amira, Meow, and Kendra, and Garo, I believe. But yes, if any of your topics are urgent this week, let us know. If not, also let us know so that we know you're here. Mm-hmm. But yeah, as you were saying, Joe.
What? So I got a question.
No, you don't.
I do.
So, okay. What is it?
Why in anime
You're
when someone
bluffing.
is sleeping,
Ah,
do they have a bubble coming out of their nose?
why does Mario have a bubble coming out of his nose when he's sleeping?
Does he?
Yeah.
Why is that?
Well, why does bubbles exist? Okay, so it's a some animes are different. Every anime is not the same. Some animes they have them drool when they sleep.
Oh yeah.
Some animes they have the bubble.
Uh-huh.
Some animes they just have the Z's,
Uh-huh.
and that's you've seen that a lot in cartoons.
Yeah, but I get the
Westernized
drooling.
version.
I get the Z's.
Okay,
You
some
don't
have
get the
snot.
snot bubble?
I don't get the bubble. I don't understand the bubble.
Is
Is it snot?
personally, yes, it's supposed to be snot. Personally, I've never experienced that snot bubble myself, but I think it comes from it actually happening to some people. I don't know.
Like when they're sleeping, they get a snot bubble that comes out like.
Probably not. Probably
Probably
not
not that
quite as
big.
dramatic.
But I've seen on occasion from certain family members a small little bubble that goes in and out just a little bit.
Really?
Yeah.
While they're
And I
falling
have
asleep
seen
on
it.
their chair.
Really?
Yes, I have seen it on one person ever.
Wow.
And it's basically a mucus that covers the whole nostril hole perfectly and just goes in and out as they breathe. And it is kind of like, whoa, are you not waking up from that? Yeah.
Interesting.
But I believe that's where it comes from.
Meow.
Is that really your question?
Yeah. That was my question.
Yeah, you played Genshin Impact recently. You having fun with it? Are you addicted yet? Did you spend hundreds of dollars yet?
I've been hearing this game is so crazily cool. I feel like I ought to get it. I'm on vacation now.
It's rather immersive, yeah. I'm trying to get Starbound up and working, and I'm super close. I just got rid of all of the errors.
Oh.
And there looks to be no errors left for me to find. But now I have to compress it all and get in, then also get it to Jesse to turn on for us.
All right.
And then we can have a server up and running, and anybody can play.
And that'll be fun.
At any time. And we can build a huge giant city together with NPCs that'll live in the houses and interact with each other and us, and it's cool. But I'm looking forward to doing that, and I hope I can get it up soon because I know you're on vacation. I'm like, oh, I wanted to get it done before you went on vacation, but you went on vacation a week early, Joe.
I did.
So disappointed.
I had to.
In myself.
Yeah. So, all right. So, Garrow is. Oh, Garrow's doing his topic, or their topic.
So, I was looking for people responding to my question. Is anyone's urgent? And it seems.
Yeah, I haven't heard if.
No one responded that it was.
I do. Meow's the only person.
Well, remember,
I see
Garrow
here.
was also answering or writing his topic out, so it'd be
yes.
hard to answer and write your topic at the same time.
That's true.
So, Garrow, do you feel your topic is urgent? That if we do not answer it this week, there's no point in answering it?
Or it would just mean more.
Mm-hmm. Or yeah, or mean more.
Not urgent.
All right. Well, then we'll go in order. Thank you so much, Garrow. You're awesome. Meow, you're up.
Yes.
So, we have one from Meow, who submitted it September 8th in the questions/topics from the live stream on our forums, which is bss.studio/forums/index.php?/topics. If you want to submit a topic, you could go there. Or you can write it in the chat.
Or you can write it
Anyways,
in the chat.
I'm just buying time for Princess to post the link.
Oh,
awesome.
Gotcha.
So Princess posted
good.
the link.
Good job.
For you, if you want to read along, this is titled A Song for a Friend.
Oh. And Meow says if you excuse me, if you do my topic, you don't need to go into too much detail.
Okay.
Noted.
Thank you. So I wrote and created a song for a friend, and I gave it to her on Saturday, September 4th. She She thought the song was wonderful, which is awesome. We haven't really seen each other much since 8th grade, since we go to different high schools, and we haven't been able to hang out. The last time we saw each other before Saturday was before my first Don't Worry Wednesday, and it was a bit emotional for me to see her again. We're both pretty busy and don't text much these days. I'm pretty worried about how this topic will go because it's a bit personal and hard to explain without going into more detail. I won't go into too much of it, but here's a poem that I put together in which I try to explain how I feel. Don't worry, I worry I didn't do well at explaining this. Anyway, here's the poem. Loving feelings for a dear friend. A dear friend, a deep connection, a piece of my heart. Drifting apart, time passed, feelings stay. Far away, disconnected, empty and lost. Any cost, worrying inside, a message to send. Love doesn't end, caring feelings, dear friend. Before I close, I thought I'd mention something that she told me once. Don't judge yourself based on your emotions. Thanks, from Meow.
Wonderful. Yeah, I like that. I like what she told you. Don't judge yourself based on your emotions. I think that's very wise of them to say. I like that a lot. And a beautiful poem, by the way. I think that got the feeling across very well. And it was a very well written poem, and it was how do you say? Had a good rhythm. Had a good rhythm. And I think that's something that I appreciate about poems. Not everybody, not every poet writes in a rhythm, but I appreciate when poems have a rhythm. It feels good when it comes off your tongue, and I like that. So nicely done on that. But yeah, ultimately, you have a friend, and you have a great deal of feelings for them. And despite the distance and lack of communication over the past while, those feelings are there. And you're just kind of suffering with them in a way, right? It is interesting that when we love something, it also hurts. And that's weird. It's weird. Our heart longs for that person so much that it hurts inside. And sometimes even when we're with that person, it still longs for them in such a deep way that we can't even get. We can't even grasp at that it hurts. Which is interesting. And there's something to be said about having a God-shaped hole in your heart for that. You know, many women especially experience, but guys as well, when they finally get into that relationship with their significant other, when they get married, they feel like there's still that hole. Like, I want to be closer to you. No matter how close I get to you, I'm literally hugging you, and I still feel like I'm not close enough. I'm talking intimately with you about this scenario. I know your thoughts on this subject, and yet I still feel like I'm not close enough. And that is an interesting feeling. How love can be experienced in that manner, and ultimately just the bounds in the of what we're capable as human beings and what we can't do, right? And how we can't express that, or we cannot fulfill it sometimes. It's interesting. But anyways, that's sort of a tangent, but ultimately, I'm looking forward to see what Joe's got to say about this topic. So I'm going to give it over to him.
Well, I read through the topic a few times. I didn't really see a question in here, but we're basically just talking about this type of scenario where, hey, we love each other, or I love this person, and we can't be together, and all this, and it's hard. And I love what Ryan was talking about, and it's so true. When we love someone deeply, it hurts. It's crazy. It does. And you know what? When we're not with them anymore, it hurts. Sometimes when we're with them, it hurts. So, It's true. And I have to also say, Meow, I love your poem. I love I love the rhythm. I love the minimal words. You've chosen such descriptive words that it just your very few words drip with so much meaning. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
So it's absolutely beautiful. And I think it's great that you have this deep of a connection with this person. Even though it's hard to not be together. And I also think she must be pretty cool, because I love what she said. Don't judge yourself based on your emotions.
Yeah.
That's a really smart thing to say. It's a wise thing to say, because our emotions come and go. Emotions are, they do whatever, right? And sometimes emotions just come upon us without us asking for it. And, then we're stuck with them for a while. So she's right that it's not good to judge ourselves based on emotions, something that we can't necessarily always control whether they're present in us or not. Like sometimes things happen and we're just overtaken by emotion. We can have as much self-control as, I don't know, some monk somewhere, and still emotions can run us over. And so we can't make a judgment on ourselves based on something that's that fickle, that fleeting, and, that outside of our control. Now, we can learn to control our emotions, and actually, it's not necessarily that I don't think, maybe Ryan is probably going to have to speak to this. I don't necessarily have good self-control when it comes to emotions. I have really good self-control in the expression of those emotions, usually. But just because I'm not expressing what I'm feeling doesn't mean I'm not feeling it, right? And in fact, this is an interesting thing. Me being able to do that actually harmed me, that I learned from my therapist, because when I would have the emotion of anger come in, I had learned through, various situations in relationships that if I expressed anger, it always turned into this really, really horrible thing, and I would be out-angered by the other person, right? And it would turn into a big problem. So,
that's my story too, man.
Is it?
Yeah.
So anytime the emotion of anger would come in, I would immediately shut it down and freeze it. Because I'm like, nope, I can't express this. And it would burn inside, like, oh, like I feel it just like coursing through every bit of me, and, out to my fingertips and everything. I would feel this emotion just like everywhere. And I would be like Yoda in whatever this episode 2, whatever one that was, where he was having a fight with Count Dooku, and Count Dooku like shot a bunch of lightning bolts at him or whatever, right? And he just like absorbed him and didn't fight him back. He just like absorbed his attack and internalized it, right? And so that's how I would picture myself. I'd actually picture myself doing that. When something would make me angry, I would picture Yoda, right? Just
that's awesome.
And then just, and it's good. What happens though with anger, I'll tell you this, that will manifest itself. If you freeze anger and don't express it productively, you end up depressed. More times than not. Because depression, a lot of therapists are now seeing that depression is frozen anger in a lot of cases, where it's like somebody has been angry, they've been, made to feel angry, but then also their anger was invalidated for some reason, so they had to dismiss it or discard it or just shove it all down, right? And since they didn't express it, then later it becomes depression. It becomes this thing, right? And so it can really be harmful. So here's the thing. Why did I go off onto this tangent? I don't know. So we were talking about don't judge yourself based on your emotions. But the emotions that you have for this young lady, they're a beautiful thing. And here's the thing that I would watch out for. Because yes, it's going to hurt to love someone, like Ryan was talking about, and like I said too, that yes, loving people hurts us. When we're not around them, it hurts us. Watch out for any feelings of possessiveness in you. I think we talked about this in a previous topic that, I want this friend, I want this person, I love this person, I want them near me, and so, and that's a good thing. To want to be close to someone is great. But be mindful if you start to feel possessive of them in any way. And watch out for that as you travel this, because what happens then is you drive yourself crazy and you drive them crazy. And it can be really hard. And a lot of times relationships, and I see it a lot in unhealthy relationships, what's happened is these two people mutually possess each other.
Mm.
You know what I mean? So like, this is my person. This is my husband. This is my wife. This is my, and it's all about my person that I have with me. And doggone it, they better do what I want them to do. Because they're mine. So just be on the lookout for that as you go. Remember that love is desiring the best for another person. Ryan has said it so many times on this show. I can't even count them. He says it every show almost that he's on. But that's what love is. Love is when we desire the best for another person.
When I'm not on the show, I should just come on and say, remember that love is desiring the best. And then leave.
Totally should. That'd be great.
My quota.
But yeah. So ask yourself that question. Anytime something is going awry, anytime something feels weird, anytime, you might be feeling hurt, ask yourself this question. Am I desiring the best for her? Do I want what's best for her? What is best for her? And if we can stay focused on that, things generally will happen the way they're supposed to. Doesn't mean you end up with them. But we grow into who we're supposed to be. They grow into who they're supposed to be. And we help each other do that. And that's one of the most beautiful expressions of love that I can think of, is when we give of ourselves into the life of another person so that they can flourish, and then they do the same with us. It's a beautiful thing. And so with that, I'm going to turn it over to Ryan, because Ryan is the guy who knows more about this. So Ryan, take it away.
Well, thank you, Fred Nick. That was very kind of you. And thank you, Joe. That was also very kind of you. Meow, you said that also, by the way, I kind of worked through this topic myself, but I'm sure that your discussion of it will be very good. Um, I'm just curious, Meow, would you mind sharing how you got through this topic yourself, um, what you felt, what you experienced, and what you did about it? I think that that could be really helpful to someone else in the chat in case they're experiencing something similar.
Mm-hmm.
So if you would, if you feel confident enough, if you feel like it's okay to share those personal thoughts and experiences, I think that would be great. Um, Carrying on, um, you know, Joe ended on something really important, and that is loving someone, right? Is to desire the best for them, right? I remember recently hearing, um, it was really, really cool to hear. It was a priest talking, and I was just watching them online, see what they had to say about a topic. The priest was talking, and they said before they became a priest, they were actually in a relationship with a girl, right? And once you enter seminary to become a priest, you can't have a relationship with a girl anymore because, well, you're in the process of figuring out, is this the life for you, the single life devoted to God, right? And so he knew he was going to have to end his relationship, right? And he says, as a priest, he's gotten asked this quite a few times about you feel like you're being called to a certain life, or you feel like, okay, maybe this person isn't the right person for you, or you feel like in one way or another, this other person, you love them, but at the same time, you're not sure 100% that that is what's best for them, right? And he said, um, he said it was really hard because he was with this girl and he loved her, but he also felt like he was being called to the seminary, to become a priest. And so he worked up the courage and started to talk to her about it and said, I think this is what I'm supposed to do. And her response blew him out of the water. And he said, this is the response that everybody needs to hear. This is what everybody needs to hear when this is what's going on in their life. Whenever you're parting with a relationship, these are the words you need to hear. Whenever you have a loved one that you just decide, you know what, we'll never be in a relationship, or, it's just not meant to be, or we already are in one, but you know what, it's better to move on. These are the words she said to him, and he felt like, wow, that's it. And she said, so what she said was, I can't remember exactly, but she said, if you're being called towards this direction, if this is your vocation, then this is also my vocation. Vocation being walk of life, where you're meant to be going with your life. She said, if this is where you're meant to be going in your life, then it's also true for me that this new direction for me is where I'm supposed to be going in life. Mm. And it was agreement of, hey, it's just supposed to be this way. And that's good. When we desire the best for another person, we can't give that all the time. We don't know. We don't always even know what's best for us. Mm-hmm. But we desire it and we work hard at it. A lot of the times, almost every decision you ever see anybody make is because they think that's what's best for them. And a lot of times those decisions are really not well thought out. Mm-hmm. They're like, all right, you know what it's time for? I've had a rough day. I'm going to go sit on my couch. I'm going to turn on the tube, pull out a bag of Cheetos, and snack on them for, I don't know, until the bag's empty.
And my fingers are orange.
And my fingers? No, that happens after the first two. I mean, let's be honest.
That's right. But by the time a whole bag is done, it's like caked on there. Like
it's caked on, and just like
you got like 3 whole Cheetos worth of Cheeto just stuck to your finger.
Yes. You just go, and there's like these long noodles of cheese. Okay, that is, don't do that. That sounds awful. But yes, that's what people are like. What I really need right now is to just laze around because I had a bad day. I just need to laze around and, pleasure myself with this huge bag of Cheetos and all this kind of stuff, right? It's like, is that really what's best for you? Is that what's going to do for you? Sometimes, yes. Sometimes we need play. Absolutely. That is absolutely important. We do need playtime. We do need time to have celebration. We do need time to relax. But my point here is most people make almost every decision they make in life because they think it's what's going to be best for themselves. I don't mean to get too religious, but I'm sure you've all heard, whether you're religious or not, Jesus said, love your neighbor as you love yourself. And a lot of people will go, well, I don't love myself. How am I supposed to love my neighbor? Am I supposed to love my neighbor exactly as I love myself? Well, I don't, so I'm not going to love him.
Nice. I can hate everybody because I hate myself.
Yeah. There's a lot of people out there who don't love themselves. In fact, I would say a majority of this earth, unfortunately, as unfortunate as it is, they don't love themselves. But here's the thing. They're still doing everything that they think is best for themselves. People even cut themselves because they think that's what's best for themselves in that moment. They feel like, oh, I just want to feel something. I'm not feeling anything. I need to feel something. And so they cut themselves, right? Or for any other reason. And honestly, that's a type of love. And we are meant to love our neighbors that way, right? And we are especially meant to love our partners, our friends, with the intent that is what is best for them. Not what is best for me in this relationship, what is best for them. And so I love that Joe was talking about that. And that's huge. And I think if we can know that and take that into our relationships get better. Our relationships get better because here's the thing. If you're trying to have a conversation with someone and you're only focused on yourself, how good is that conversation going to go? It's not going to go very well because the conversation is between two people and you need to have your attention on them and hearing what they're saying to respond to it, right? If you're trying to have a relationship with someone, right? And your whole concentration is on yourself, how good do you think that relationship is going to be? How good do you think that connection is going to be between you and them? You're like this and they're trying to, I guess it's going to be like that instead of like this, right? It doesn't make sense. We need to be an outpouring of love if we want to have a relationship with someone. And sometimes that outpouring of love is looking at them and going, okay, we need to stay friends, not romance. Or, you know what? You've got a lot going on in your life right now. I'm not going to ask you to go out of your way for me right now. You already have enough going on. I'm going to allow you time to do that, right? There's all sorts of different things. Sometimes love does mean distance. Doesn't always, but it can. And so if we keep that in mind, though, our relationship would be so much better with everybody because then our focus is on point. It's on the right thing that helps relationships improve because it's on them. It's not on ourselves. I think a lot of times when we get wrapped up in ourselves, when we're in a conversation, we start judging ourselves. We start worrying about what we're going to say next. We start worrying about what we look like. We start worrying if we're going to look stupid or where they say something, we don't know what that word is. And we start to pretend like we know that word. We do so much stupid stuff because we're so worried about ourselves instead of just loving on them and going, you know what? I'm here for them. And you know what? You look super smart when you do that. You look super attractive to them when you do that. Because what's more attractive than someone who is interested in you? So Meow did say some stuff. I'm gonna go ahead and write it. It says they said they're distracted with texting their friend about the topic. Okay. So they may not be able to say anything. That's really cool, Meow. I mean, if later you're done and you want to share, perfect. If not, that's totally fine. We are at the 2-hour mark. But I'm going to give it over to Joe in case he has anything else he wants to add.
Nope.
Cool. All right, guys. Bye-bye.
I love what you were saying, though, Ryan, about loving yourself. That is a real challenge a lot of times. But if we can learn to do that,
Right.
It helps us to love others so much better.
Yeah.
It really does.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
you are your
And
own roommate.
yeah,
Oh my
right. You
gosh.
are.
All the time. I cannot get away
Mhm.
from that guy.
Yeah. That
He
stinking guy.
follows me
No,
into
leave
the
me alone.
bathroom.
This is my area. What are you doing in here? Get out.
I'm
Um.
always invading my personal space.
Oh yeah. I keep on popping my own bubble. Um.
My own snot bubble when I'm sleeping.
Oh geez. Yeah. It's like. Anyways. Yeah. Well, I guess one more thing is about that line. Jesus says, "Love yourself." As love your neighbor as just as you love yourself. It's kind of a call to love yourself too. We're supposed to be loving on ourselves. If you aren't religious, it's totally fine, but the sentiment remains the same. We need to love ourselves in order to love other people. I think a lot of times that's one of the missing components of relationships is we don't love ourselves, and then it falls apart because we're too focused on ourselves. We're asking too much and we're giving too little, and it's hard. It's hard, but it's awesome. It's awesome. Relationships are the best place for us to grow because relationships provide that environment of, hey, I'm gonna love you no matter what happens between us. And so it allows us to start being really stupid, but also gives us the chance to out ourselves and grow through that stupidity.
Mm.
And I think that's beautiful, right? But anyways, I think that's all we got for this show. So thank you so much, everybody, for being here, for sharing, for coming to the show if you're new, for adding everything you had to the chat, for your your own experiences or just the funny remarks you're making back and forth. It was great too. I love reading it. So thank you all so much for being here. And we hope you have a wonderful rest of your week. Do you have anything else to end with?
We couldn't have this show without your lovely support and topics. So again, thank you so much. Hopefully we can get to Garrow's next time that they're here.
Yep, definitely.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Garrow, if you're around next Wednesday, please stop by so we can do your topic. And Kendra as well. Yeah.
Yes. Next Wednesday will be the Thanksgiving edition of Don't Worry Wednesday because it's the day before Thanksgiving.
I see.
Yeah. That's my favorite holiday.
I know. It's a holiday with all the food.
That's it. It is.
And the thanks.
And the thanks. And just say thanks for the food.
Yeah.
No,
that's right.
Yeah. It's awesome. But
it
anyway.
is awesome. All right. Cool. Thank you all so much for joining us. We hope you have a wonderful rest of your life. And we hope to see you again. So see you guys later. Peace. We love you guys.
Love you guys. Bye-bye.
Bye now.